Welcome to the Nighttime Casebook. In today's video, the case we have for you is about the Black Dahlia, Hollywood's darkest mystery. In 1947, a young actress's gruesome murder shook Los Angeles, and her case remains unsolved to this day. This is the chilling story of Black Dahlia. The morning of January 15th, 1947, Los Angeles was just waking up. The air was cool, the sky overcast. A mother named Betty Sanger was walking with her 3-year-old daughter through Limerick Park, a quiet neighborhood just south of downtown. As she passed by a vacant lot in Norton Avenue, something caught her eye. At first glance, it looked like a discarded mannequin, pale, motionless, lifeless. But as she stepped closer, her stomach dropped. It wasn't a mannequin, it was a body, a young woman, naked, cut clean in half, and posed with her arms stretched above her head in a grotesque display. Her face had been slashed from the corners of her mouth up to her ears, later be known as the glass glow smile. The police arrived swiftly, so did the reporters, and the hours passed, the mystery only deepened. The young woman had no ID, no purse, no clues, only a brutal message carved into her body. When her fingerprints were finally matched through FBI records, a name surfaced: Elizabeth Short. She was just 22, and this was the only beginning of one of the most infamous unsolved murders in American history. Elizabeth was born in Boston on July 29, 1924. One of five daughters, her father abandoned the family during the Great Depression, faking his own suicide. Her mother raised the girls alone, working hard and barely getting by. As a teen, Elizabeth was drawn into the glamour of Hollywood. She was beautiful, jet black hair, pale skin, bright green eyes. People said she looked like a movie star and she believed it. She chased that dream west, like so many others, landing in Los Angeles with hopes of fame and fortune. But reality was far less kind. She worked as a waitress. She bounced from one cheap apartment to another. She dated men, some said too many, but none seriously. She crafted an image, always dressed into the nines, hair perfectly done, makeup flawless. To those who met her, she was charming, mysterious, a little tragic, but to someone, Elizabeth became a target. The autopsy painted a picture even more chilling than the one at the scene. Elizabeth had been dead about 10 hours before she was found. Her body had been washed clean. There was no blood on the ground, meaning she had been killed elsewhere and placed there. Her torso had been severed at the waist with surgical precision, her intestines tucked beneath her face mutilated with terrifying exactness. Rope marks on her wrist and ankle suggested she had been bound. Her thighs showed signs of cuts, deliberate, almost methodical. This wasn't a crime of passion, this was planned, cold, and calculated. The LAPD was flooded with tips, false confessions, and media frenzy. Newspaper coined the nickname the Black Dahlia and a nod to the movie The Blue Dahlia, a noir crime drama, and Elizabeth's love for black clothing. The public was hooked, so were the police, but answers remained elusive. In those early days, the police had hope. The FBI had matched Elizabeth's fingerprint in less than an hour. They interviewed hundreds. They chased down leads from Los Angeles to San Diego to Boston. But nothing stuck. Then came the letters. A few after the murder, an envelope arrived. A few days after the murder, an envelope arrived at the Los Angeles Examiner newspaper. It contained Elizabeth's birth certificate, business cards, photographs, and a note. It was cut and pasted from a newspaper's letter like a ransom note. It read, "Here is Dahlia's belongings, letter to follow." More notes would come, some taunting, some threatening. One read, "I will give up on Dahlia killing. If I get 10 years, don't try to find me." Police believed the killer was watching, reading, playing games, but they couldn't catch him. They interrogated over 150 suspects. More than 500 people confessed to the murder. Some mentally ill, some attention seekers, others just desperate to be part of something so notorious. None of them matched the evidence. It would take decades before one name rose above the noise: Dr. George Hodel, a respected physician, brilliant, charismatic, but dark. He was known for hosting strange, lavish parties at his Hollywood mansion. He was obsessed with surrealist art, particularly violent and disturbing works. He had a scandalous personal life, and most damning of all, he had been investigated for rape of his own daughter. The case fell apart in court, but police never forgot him. In 1950, the LAPD bugged Hodel's house. What they recorded shocked them. At one point, Hodel was hearing saying, "Supposin' I did kill the Black Dahlia, they can't prove it now. They can't talk to my secretary because she's dead." The secretary indeed had died under mysterious circumstances. Despite the chilling tapes, Hodel was never charged. He fled the country and left the Philippines for years. He died in 1999. But the story doesn't end here. Years later, Dr. Hodel's son, Steve Hodel, was going through his father's belongings. Steve, the retired LAPD homicide detective himself, began to see clues his father had left behind. He launched his own investigation and published a book, Black Dahlia Avenger. In it, he laid out his case against his own father. The evidence was circumstantial but compelling. Photos resembling Elizabeth, handwriting that matched the killer's letters, location that placed George Hodel near the body drop site, and those recordings, Steve's theory his father killed Elizabeth in the basement of the family home, the infamous Southern house in Los Feliz, then transported and posed her body. Steve even believed his father was connected to other killings, including the Zodiac murder. Steve even believed his father was connected to other killings, including the Zodiac murders. Was he right? To this day, the LAPD won't confirm or deny whether George Hodel remains a suspect. Officially, the case is still open. Over the years, other names have been floated: nightclub owners, ex boyfriends, mobsters, and even actors, all dead ends. The Black Dahlia case has become more than a murder mystery. It's mirror into the dark side of 1940s Hollywood, a world of dreams, desperation, glamour, and shadows. Books, films, documentaries, podcasts, countless stories have tried to uncover the truth, but none have. And maybe that's why it endures, because we are still searching, no just for the killer, but for who Elizabeth Short really was. Behind the headlines, beneath the myth, a daughter, a dreamer, a life cut short. More than 75 years later, we still talk about the Black Dahlia, not just because of the horror, but of silence that followed. Because someone got away with it, and because justice was never served. Maybe one day the truth will come out. Until then, her story remains one of the darkest chapters in Los Angeles history. For listening the case of Black Dahlia. With this, I, the Nighttime Case book, conclude our today's story here. Have a good day.